Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new, yep, I knew you'd get it, pair of headphones. I knew you'd notice. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. For my job, I'm going to have to speak a little bit more, and what I find is whenever I do these episodes, especially if I'm doing the 4 like I used to, which was the English full review, like you're seeing, a short English one in Spanish and one in Portuguese, my voice tends to get a little raspy when I'm shouting from the rooftops, and so I'm going to have to go back to the mic, and I hope you don't mind that. I hope you're doing well, and before I dive in on the actual review itself, let me quickly say, since last Friday, we have had yet again an absolute avalanche worth of new subscribers, and I really do appreciate that. Not only that, but we had a lot of comments throughout the week, and it's always enjoyable for me to chit-chat with you guys throughout the entire week. So I really appreciate that. If you have not subscribed to this channel, make sure you do so right now. Smash that subscribe button, and then do not forget to turn on the notifications for this channel, especially if you watch me on your phone. That would really, really mean a lot. If this channel puts out new content, every single Friday, and so make sure that if you like it, to pass it on to your fellow frag heads. Let's dive in, shall we? So when it comes to the description and the title, of course, you know what's coming, but it's none other than London for Men by Burberry. So here's the deal on this one. Last year, I finally did a top 10 list for winter fragrances. And when I did that, it was either the actual day I recorded or right before. I think it might even have been an unboxing, but I included this one, of course I did, on my winter fragrances. And I have to tell you, I checked not long ago, and I was thinking for some reason in my mind that I had done a full review on it, but it was not. It was part of the winter fragrances, and so it deserves a full review, and here we are going to do it right here, right now. So its nickname, I'll just tell you right off the bat, its nickname is Christmas in a Bottle. So you might be saying to yourself, okay, it's January 14th. What is he doing reviewing this on January 14th if it's called Christmas in a Bottle? Well, I'm so glad you ask, because on my side of the family, we, due to inclement weather and a variety of illnesses, we have not been able to meet up for Christmas yet. Believe it or not, I know. So I still have my Christmas tree up, and we still have a whole bunch of gifts over here. And so in honor of our late Christmas, I'm celebrating Burberry London for Men Christmas in a Bottle on January 14th. You know, I'm paying homage to the fact that we had to wait a little bit, but you know what? Better late than never, and I'm super excited about that, and it's going to be great. So this will be our good luck charm, right? That no one will have to cancel, and we will all be able to meet. So wish us good luck in that sense. So this is Christmas in a Bottle, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit about the notes in a second, but I want you to keep that as your baseline. So when it comes to the bottle, there are a couple things here. One thing I really like about the bottle is the atomizer. So I'm going to give you one spray now. Boom. In case maybe it was off camera. Boom. All right, there we go. I really like the atomizer, and I like the general construction of the bottle. I'll get to that in a second. It's incredibly ergonomic, which, as you guys know, in my geeky sense, I really do like that. It really does matter to me. In fact, quite frankly, the ergonomic factor of the bottle means more to me than the atomizer, but just, I know that's the minority opinion for YouTube fragrance reviewers. One thing I also really like is, notice the detail here. You can see that extremely clearly. So everything is very clear on the bottom, and I really like the presentation of the information on the bottom of the bottle. I don't have the box with me because back in the day, I used to throw away the box immediately, but I do keep them now for the reviews. I wish I had it. This is batch number 8206, which means it is a March 2020 batch. So that's March 2020, batch code 8206. For this one, it has been reformulated. Now, and so I'm sticking with the bottle. One thing, and I'll get the boo birds out. You can go ahead and boo me. Plus, we don't want too much happiness over the holidays anyway. It's kind of fun to boo people. You boo me because I find they call it the Czech fabric. I looked this up. CHECK, so not like Czech Republic. So it's Czech fabric around the bottle, which is like a winter sweater. I find incredibly corny. Yeah, and I knew. Yep. No, I see you. I knew some would be upset. It's controversial. But I actually don't like that, and that is a negative point for me. This is all subjective. Don't get mad at me. Okay, so in terms of nomenclature, I don't have really too much to say. The house is Burberry, and the name of it is London, so I really don't have too much to say about the names. Usually I delve into that. I did look on their site. They didn't really say much about the origin or the inspiration behind the name. The house can be a little controversial. I don't usually get too much into this, but for those of you who look for fragrances with the leaping bunny on them so that they're vegan-friendly and no animal cruelty, sometimes Burberry comes up in a bad way, right? Because of the fur. Now, I will say that the last time I looked was maybe 2015, 16, 17, around there for that house. So maybe things have improved. I just want you to know that for some of you, if that matters to you, then sometimes you'll see online that people will avoid Burberry, and I did want to point that out. I actually, in fact, did for quite some time, and I'm hoping they no longer sell fur, but even if they do, it's been drastically reduced. That said, I wanted to put that out there. So this is Burberry. The other thing I wanted to mention for the name is it's not pour homme, right? It's not pour homme in French. It's actually for men. So it is London for Men by Burberry. Hopefully I won't say pour homme later on. Sometimes it slips out. So that's the nomenclature. That's the house. And that is the bottle and design. So let's talk a little bit about the year, the category, and the parfumé. Okay, so this is a 2006 release, and it is an amber spicy. I noticed that one of the notes is Opopanax, and if it's my limited understanding that Opopanax is a note that is used to resemble amber. Correct me if I'm wrong. The nose behind this work is Antoine Maisondieu, and that's an interesting name because Antoine, of course, would be Anthony. This is French, but Maisondieu is an interesting last name because Maison, I don't speak French, but Maison, it means house, I know that, and Dieu means God. So Maisondieu means God's house. So Antoine Maisondieu means Anthony God's house. That's pretty cool, and I really, really like that. That is a great, great last name. When it comes to the notes, you're looking at a few of them, but as I've said earlier, this is Christmas in a bottle. Here's one word I'd like to throw out for you that I associate with this, besides, of course, like a Christmas actual tree. You know what the word is? Potpourri. When I smell this fragrance, I smell potpourri in general, but especially the holiday potpourri, but it does smell quite a bit like that. So, remember, so you guys, of course, probably used to watch Carlos, who sadly passed away. I was a huge fan of the channel. I really enjoyed watching him. He was just such a wonderful guy. Carlos, I know in one of his episodes, he reviewed another fragrance, and he was going around where he worked asking women if they liked the fragrance, and it also smelled like potpourri. And I remember what jumped out at me was like half of the women were like, I love this fragrance, this is how a man should smell. And then the other half, I think one even said, if my boyfriend wears this, he's sleeping on the couch. The other half was a definite no. So I will concede right now that potpourri fragrances, potpourri smelling similar to potpourri fragrances, are not going to be popular with everybody. I personally like them a lot. But I do, as I said, I do want you to know that if you are checking out this review because of the fragrance and not necessarily the channel itself, if you're bouncing around checking out a lot of reviewers, be mindful of that, because if I could sum this up in one word, it would be potpourri. besides its nickname that everyone knows, which is Christmas in a bottle. That's not one word, though. Okay, so the top notes are going to be cinnamon, lavender, and bergamot. And then they're in the mid. I get more leather for the mid. I think it was mimosa was the other one. And then the base notes are interesting because it's tobacco, guaiac wood, and oak moss. So I have to tell you right now that for me, it would be very difficult. When you combine cinnamon with guaiac wood, and from me personally, that is a home run. I love that combination, and I can't think of any fragrance that would be bad if they have at least those two notes. Now, the mystery for me is this one really smells like, like a Christmas tree. I mean, it smells like it has pine in it, and I'm assuming, and I went to the Burberry site right before recording, and it's not listed, so I'm assuming it's the oak moss mixed with possibly the lavender. Or maybe even the bergamot or mimosa. I'm not sure how they're getting the combination to achieve a pine-like smell. Pine is not listed, but it really does smell like that. So I'm assuming oak moss is a player there somewhere. The opopanax is mixed too, and as I said earlier, that's probably to achieve the amber quality to it. That said, though, I personally get cinnamon, I get guaiac wood, I get tobacco, and then I get, this kind of oak moss, lavender, perhaps bergamot, mimosa, I'm not sure, to combine into a pine-like smell. So this one is, for me, very, very nice. This is one of the reviews that I've struggled with the most on the ranking. Usually when I do one throughout the week, I know, and I don't vacillate between numbers. So on my system of 5 sprays, I won't think, oh, maybe this is a 1, is it a 2, or I won't go between a 3 and a 4. I just kind of know the number, and it usually stays right there. This is not the case. So I've had a lot of internal strife this week on which actual one I'm going to go to, because you guys know I don't give half sprays. This one has been challenging in that sense. So those are the main notes. People refer to it as Christmas in a bottle. I say potpourri. Either way, it's perfect for the holidays. A belated happy holidays to you. Okay, you're in odd times when you're in mid-January and still working on Christmas, but here we are. Better late than never. So here, this is the 2020 bottle, and I noticed a lot of people have said that the reformulations don't last as long. On longevity, I wouldn't say it's bad news. It certainly lasts longer than some people have, really hammered away on how terrible the longevity is. I don't get that. I do get 6 to 8 hours on longevity, but it is much, much, much closer to 6. So if you were to go to a social event or something where you needed it, or even work where you wanted it to last the full 8 and more, you would have to put on your clothes, hair, and put a lot on, I think, to get a full 8 hours or more out of this batch. So that is a little sad, but when you're a frag head, you just get used to they put out these releases, they're incredibly popular, right? And then they just keep reformulating them and watering them down, and then they put out another version called Extreme or something, and then you have to go spend more money. They know what they're doing, because we just run around trying to spend as much money as we possibly can. They know what they're doing. It's sad, but if we discounted a fragrance because of every bad reformulation, we would be looking at discounting a lot of our absolute favorite fragrances. So, we just gotta live with it, unfortunately. So when it comes to that's the longevity. The projection is quite good, and it is a colder weather fragrance, no surprise there, of course. And so in the colder months, this is going to perform about an arm's length away for quite some time, actually. I would even go up to about 5 hours, and then it does start to settle down. You will get unsolicited compliments. You will get noticed, and people recognize this one. For good or for bad, obviously for me it's great. And so they will recognize this one, and they might even say, excuse me, is that Burberry London that you're wearing, because kind of like a lot of them, like Acqua di Gio, it is easily recognizable. So if you are around a ton of frag heads, then you want to stand out from the crowd, this might not be the one. But then again, if they're frag heads, they're all busting out niche fragrances, and this is of course designer. This can be had for between on discounted sites between $20 and $35 for a 100 milliliter 3.4 ounce. That's another one that's just outstanding. I think on the Burberry site it was $80, but you don't want to be paying anything near that for this fragrance. Sillage is also good. I would say it's moderate to good, and again I will insist that for me personally it's better than a lot of people said when they were bashing it. If you're coming in and out of rooms in an office or in a social event, it will leave a trail for the first 4 to 5 hours, and then it really does start to dissipate. I don't know personally that I would see. I mean, I always feel odd saying that, because like I don't know if I would wear this to the office, but then I just spent the last week wearing it to the office. But if now that said, though, because we're in a pandemic, the office has basically been 99% cleared out, and it's just a couple of us there. Okay, so that's my defense. If you are in a type of job where there's a lot of meetings, where you're going into smaller meeting rooms, boardrooms with the door closed, things like that, I would be careful with this fragrance. That said, though, for a job where that's not the case, then you can easily wear this one. I do see it more as an evening, but just slightly. I would say maybe like 40% day, 60% night. Where it's really clear, though, is the season. This one is winter, and winter some more. Sprinkle in perhaps a little fall, and then I just don't see this one really busting out after March. I would say if you're in hot climate, this might not do too well for you. One of the things, so let me just say real quick right now, when it comes to versatility, that's one thing I had to docket a little bit, because it is great. It is probably the winter scent. I mean, it made it on my winter list. Of course it did. It would make it on practically everybody's. So what's good about it is that it's incredibly, it's an excellent choice for the colder months. And then I guess the flip side would be it is not terribly versatile, in the sense that I don't think this is a 365 days a year fragrance. It certainly is not for me. But it's kind of like pumpkin pie for Americans with Thanksgiving, right? Whenever the weather gets really cold, I thoroughly enjoy getting out London and Encanois and things like that are just so great for the winter months. So, for every negative, there's a positive. It's almost like I could be like a self-help guru if I wanted to be. All right, so those are the seasons, and then the versatility. I wanted to jump to that. Let's go to gender. This one is another one that I would point. When you're looking at tobacco, leather, cinnamon, oak moss, guaiac wood, everything really is pointing more to about probably an 80-20, maybe 85-15. Why don't we just say 80-20 to be on the safe side? So that means for me that's 80% men. I'm going to call this quite masculine, quite gentlemanly actually, and I will say 80% men who actually wear this signature scent, wanted it. It wasn't gifted to them. They requested it. They love it. People know them for this scent. Probably 80% men and 20% women. I'm a huge fan of how it smells, so obviously it might even be slightly more than that. I just don't know that I would immediately say this is unisex. I would not. I would say this is right in the heart of masculinity, and it's more for the refined gentleman with a cherry tobacco in his pipe, sitting next to the Christmas tree, reading a New Yorker. I don't know. You get my point. So now for age, speaking, if you're sitting reading the New Yorker with a cherry tobacco red pipe, you are probably not going to be under 40. So this one is. What do you want to say? Let's say I'm going to say 35 and up. I do see this as kind of a dad, like this would be like the Father's Day, perfect gift, Christmas gift for dad. I do see this that element to it, and I'm going to go with 35 and up on the age. I don't see too many college students rocking this. It's not like a clubbing scent, and I have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of guys in their 20s would just say, it's just not for me. So I feel quite confident in my assessment, 35 and up on the age group as far as the majority of people wearing it and liking it. All right, and the target audience for that. So that is practically everything, other than, unfortunately, we have to get to the bad news, which is the moment that I have been, stressing out about. As far as the rating goes, just in terms of smell alone, I feel bad because this is definitely a 5 out of 5 for me. Again, if you like potpourri style fragrances, see, I love guaiac wood and cinnamon, as I mentioned. It is a perfect combination. So I have to go 5 out of 5 just on the smell alone for me. So you think, well, he's probably going to give a 5. Here's the thing. I have 3 points that, I feel like they missed their mark a little bit. 1 is admittedly just totally subjective, all right? And you booed me for it earlier anyway. Number 1 is the cheesy ass sweater. Come on. I mean, look, I mean, it's a little corny, right? I mean, you hold it and it wrinkles and it's supposed to look like a winter sweater. It's a little corny, and you have to concede that. I'm not a huge fan of the sewn in. In fact, I'm even tempted just to, look how nice that is. Look, come on. Look. Yeah. See, I'm even tempted just to slide it off. I'll get some scissors later, maybe. And so that's that. That's 1 point. And then the second point for me was it has been reformulated, as I mentioned, and a lot of people have spoken to the fact that it has been watered down quite a bit. I cannot speak to that because this is the only bottle I've ever had of it, and thoroughly enjoying it, but I can't speak to the original formulation. And then last but not least, because it is Christmas in a bottle, then it is certainly not a 365-day-a-year fragrance. And a lot of people who watch my channel are in Asia, and if you're in Malaysia, if you're in a country where there's a lot of high temperatures throughout the year, man, this might just be about a 2-week to maybe 4-week a year fragrance for you. So I feel like I have to dock a little bit for the versatility. Now, and hold on, and I came dangerously close to hitting the boo button, but I'm not going to do it because you're thinking he's mentioned 3 deficiencies of the fragrance, so he's going to take off 3 sprays. Nope. We're gonna say this: 5 out of 5 on smell alone, fragrance, aroma, whatever word you want to use. Love this. This is, in fact, don't say the name. Smell this fragrance and try not to smile. Not saying the name. Okay, because I've done that before, like with Aqua di Gio. Smell this one, you will like it, or detest it if you don't like potpourri, but you will remember it. That said, so the 3 points I have, 5 out of 5, fragrance alone, final verdict, 4 out of 5 sprays. I will admit to you that if I had half sprays, this probably would be a 4.5 because it really is one that I thoroughly enjoy. But I feel like I have to go 4 out of 5 for this fragrance, reluctantly, and I admit that, but 4 out of 5, keeping it real at TCG, like I always do. So we are going to go 1 on each side of the neck and 1 on each wrist, although it might be actually onto the shirt itself, but we're going to do that. And this is 4 out of 5 for the Amber Spicy 2006 release by Anthony God's House. Man, I love that. Antoine Maisondieu. And definitely one that you should have in your collection, again, with the one asterisk if you just simply don't like this style of fragrance. Boom. 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 And boom. Whoop, I missed. A faux spray. Boom. Ooh, there we go. There you have it. I can't believe I didn't have a full review of this already. Perfect time though, right? Perfect time to have it because we're having a late Christmas. Here it is in honor of our Christmas this year. A little bit late. 4 out of 5 sprays. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for all of your support. And make sure you stick around to the end, the bonus feature, because I do have a quick question for you for all of the frag heads. So thanks so much. And always remember, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. All right, so welcome to the bonus feature. Actually, it's unrelated, isn't it? Usually for the bonus feature, I will have, what I usually do for my bonus feature is I usually have a part when I'm recording, and I will ramble on too long about a certain point, and I know that, right? As soon as I look down, I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably going too much over time here on this one point. So when I edit, I will take that out and make that a bonus feature, or sometimes I do bloopers, which is always, of course, fun. This one's going to be totally unrelated because I have a friend of mine, and he has a question, and I don't know the answer to. So if you let me know if you know anything about Jake by Hollister. So I put it on a thread on Fragrantica today, so maybe it'll be answered there, but I wanted to also put that up here. Please let me know, because Jake by Hollister apparently was a brown bottle, and I think it came out in 2005, but it was originally a brown bottle, and it's an Eau de Cologne, so it's an EDC. And what's interesting is his question is this: it's now blue, and it's also an EDC, right? Eau de Cologne, and it's not a flanker. I just checked. It's called Jake by Hollister, and I know that the brown one was discontinued. That we know. My question is, number one, why is it a different color? They brought it back. It's a reformulation, right? It's a reboot, actually. It's like $175, the original brown bottle on eBay. I mean, not too many people are going to pay that, but you can get it again in blue. But we don't know if it's the exact same notes, and or why has it changed color for the bottle. So please let us know that if you know anything at all by Jake by Hollister. It's a rather random bonus feature, but you know what? A lot of my subscribers are intense frag heads, so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody knew. If you know anything about that or where I could look, let me know. By the time this goes out, or maybe after a week, I might already know it anyway, because as I said, I started a thread in Fragrantica. But I wanted to ask you guys, because I really appreciate all of your knowledge and fragrance background. Take care of yourself. Have a great week.